Kia ora, I'm Todd O'Hagan. I'm from Wellington, born and bred Kapiti Coast, and I have a workshop in Nauranga Gorge. I work with principally recycled timbers, but often salvage timbers, as in the case of the Po behind us. I've been doing this sort of work for 26 odd years, I think, 27 years. Prior to that, I was a chemical engineer, working in the dairy industry, but they're my two real careers and sort of passions, getting to understand Mother Nature, and in the last nearly 30 years applying it to timber and creative projects. So 1980, both Maui and I started our university studies. That's where we met, at Canterbury. And some 10 years after that we reconnected because I was doing woodwork and he had a need for some timber input to this wharenui, and so that's how I'm connected to Rēkohu and to the Hokotehi Moriori Trust, is through my old friendship with Maui Solomon. Yeah. Grandson of the last full-blooded Moriori, Tommy Solomon. Oh, we were both young fellas. I think we're only a year apart in age, but we were all up to the same antics at the time in Christchurch, living away from home and exploring our boundaries, as you do. We played a bit of rugby together, and I think he introduced me to beer. It might have been the other way around, but we got on pretty well with beer and parties, and kept it pretty seemly for most of the time. And we both moved to Wellington for our first phase of our working careers. So he was working in the law field, and I was down the Parliament end of Lambton Quay in the old pastoral house working for the dairy board. I think we both did a bit of an OE in the mid to late 80s and reconnected in the mid 90s, and in the late 90s we began work here together. Maui had a vision. He described that to me over the phone one day. I sketched some pictures as we spoke. He talked about the budget and the vision for representing his karapuna here in the centre of the wharenui, and I was quite inspired by what he said and by my sketch, visualising it. And yeah, within 6 months I was down here looking at the wharenui half built, and things just clicked into place, and we just had it was really just a dream project using all sorts of other technologies, where I met a bloke, Jim or James Dowle, who was working in Christchurch with laser engraving technology and CNC routing technology, and we formed a fantastic working relationship, and became we're great personal friends to this day. He should be here at the moment on this wānanga, but he was down last month on a different wānanga. So it was a three-team project really, principally Maui, myself, and James. I coordinated and designed it from Maui's visual conception, his ideas, and his budget and his politics. We all had to fit within that, and they were the only real difficulties, but we all managed it fine. And it went in phases right up until 2005 when the installation was complete. Sometimes things were a bit dormant, and we'd wrap the tōtara up until we were able to start work again. Maui and I, we get together for a kōrero about our kids and about life in his world and my world every now and then, every 6 months or so. And about every couple of 3 years I'll ask Maui, when am I going back? Don't we need to do some repairs? Or isn't there something else to do? So about on average every 5 years we create a really good excuse, and we have this, I just love coming down here. I don't think I want to be here 6 months of the year, but I love coming down for a good fortnight or so every 2 or 3 years. It's beautiful, and I love being here in the wharenui with lots of people. It's not often, my time here has been pretty solitary with a helper, but being here with the greater whānau is fantastic, and seeing everything working so well, and the karapuna revered and talked to by everyone each time. Yeah, the most exciting thing for me this week has been going to a forest I hadn't been to before, and it was immediately after a very sad trip to a forest I was in 12 years ago that has severely deteriorated, and that was quite sad. But then an hour or two later we visited another forest known as Rotorua up near Kaingaroa, and seeing the intact Kōpi forest and feeling it as it may have been for the karapuna of my mate. I always feel very personally connected to Maui's ancestors, his whānau, and I feel quite embraced within that. So it's a very satisfying, fulfilling and loving vibe down here, It's real good.
Awesome, mate.
Cheers.